All right, awesome, everybody. I was just talking to the group on. We're going to record these. I'll get it up in the Bank Card Life group here later today or in the morning. I do have a great interview this month. I think we have it scheduled for the beginning of February with Morrow, who had interviewed me that I posted in the Bank Card Life area talking about the importance of body and nutrition and your energy levels and managing your energy levels. So I'm excited to have Morrow on. He's going to be doing a presentation. We're going to talk about the body again, talk about energy levels, and talk about some interesting science that he's uncovered that we'll discuss the beginning of February. He lives in Italy, so we'll be doing a Zoom from here in Houston and Morrow in Italy. And what I want to do for this year is really have these bi-weekly meetings. I'm going to try to keep them short and kind of share with you the things that I see that are critical components to guys that are out in the field, people building ISOs, building organizations, and just ways of being more productive out in the field and in your businesses. So, any topics that you guys come to mind or would like to let me or want me to cover, I'd be happy to. We want to try to get that in the group. The workplace group is going away on February 10th. So if you're one of the 120 people or whatever it is in the workplace group, we want you to come over to the Facebook group. So I notice a lot of you have not gotten in the Facebook group. So if you're watching this, workplace is going away on the 10th. Facebook is raising their prices, and we just don't. I'd have to raise prices, and I'm trying to keep everything pretty affordable for everyone. So that platform, the chat capabilities, and the stuff that we've had out there is going to go away. Everything will be in the Bank Card Life closed member Facebook group. So if you haven't moved over, I think about half of you have. And the other half of you have not moved over. So please get into the Facebook group. We'd love to have you in there, love to have your interaction in there as well. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about my weekly production system. It's very, very simple, and I hopefully we can get through this pretty rapidly. We have the Bank Card Life Planner in your back office. We have recorded webinars that I've done on this as well. But it's the one thing I see a lot of times with my sales partners and my other companies, with employees, and even with myself, is if we really don't have a weekly plan in a weekly system for producing, a lot of times we will get off point, we'll get distracted, we won't stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish. And we spent time in December, I think it was December 18th, and we worked on our yearly targets. And then at the beginning of the year, we sat down and worked out our 90-day sprint, our 90-day plan for this first quarter of the year. And I have to say, I'm encouraged. I think there's a lot of pent up demand. I think we're going to see some more stimulus money coming out. I think we're going to see some infrastructure spending. I think there's a lot of money. Last I heard, it was trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines, and people are saving because they're not going out anywhere spending money. And we know there's smaller inventories on homes. Interest rates are at all-time lows. Stock market's back up there. Not that we don't have our problems, but I think there's some real pent-up demand. And once the vaccine starts to get deployed, mid-year probably, I think we're going to be looking really good in this economy. And I think for those of us that were able to survive this last year and keep our portfolios or your businesses intact, it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us. So I'm really excited. So let me launch in here. I'm going to turn off my camera so I don't distract everybody, and spend some time on the slides here and move my table down so I can draw here for you in a minute. So Jim Rohn said, the success is a few simple disciplines practiced every day, while failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated every day, right? So what we want to do, if we're committed to being at an elite level and producing an elite level, we need to have some discipline. And if we don't have the discipline we need today, we need to create and develop the discipline. It's just like working your muscles. Every decision we make and every action we take builds upon the last. So you can build up this discipline around business and around body, being, and balance that I talk about so much. So it's really, really critical that every week you are planning that week and taking time. And I do it on Sunday. I usually after church, or of course, we've been watching it all online lately, but typically after church, my morning workout, I'll have some time on Sunday afternoon to sit down and really plan out my week that's coming up, and making sure that the week that I'm planning is coordinated and aligned with my 90-day targets and my yearly targets. And then I want to look back on the week first and review that week. And all this is in the Bank Card Life Planner that I made available to you guys. It's very, very simple spreadsheet. I don't use that planner. I use apps on my phone. I use habit tracking apps. I use to-do apps by Microsoft. And I track everything in there along with my calendar. And then we have some project management systems that we use here at the office for larger, more detailed projects. But if you're a single guy or small operation, Google Sheets or anything like that will work for you. We don't want to make it more complicated than it needs to be. But you sit down on Sunday, we're going to look at the week, we're going to ask ourselves some questions, and we're going to determine how we showed up that week, and we're going to score it. And then we're going to turn our attention to what has to happen this upcoming week. And I typically will ask myself a couple questions, but what can I do? And this is out of the book, The One Thing. I like the question. It's what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. So they're talking about the domino effect, right? What is one thing I can do that will have repercussions like a rock hitting the water and rippling out? Is there one thing that I can do this week that will have a broader effect on my business, my sales production, my systems, my marketing, advertising, deployment, customer service, whatever it is, that I will get some secondary gain from, right? And then I want to sit down and really get present to, is the target important? Why is it important? And what's the cost if I don't achieve it? It's the same thing we went through when we set our targets, right? It's easy to say, I want to do something. It's easy to say, I'm going to get this done this week, but you've got to really get present with yourself and understand why is it important, because that's going to give you the leverage on yourself, the commitment that you're willing to make, the stand that you're making for the results that you want to produce in your life, that you're going to take the actions necessary to get it done, right? And then we're going to take a look at what happens if I don't achieve it, right? And I do not hit my targets every week. I miss them all the time, and I think that's a function a lot of times of setting big targets, right? But, I look at it from a perspective of, hey, if I've got a target of these 4 action items and I hit 3 of them, that to me is pretty successful if they were big targets that I placed on my to-do list for that week. So what's the old saying? I don't know. You miss every swing you don't take. You're not gonna hit anything if you don't take the swing, I guess is what it is. So the next thing I do is I look at my weekly tasks that are tied to the target. I'm going to draw this out for you in a minute. I'll time block it on my calendar, ready to do deep work, no multitasking. Research shows multitasking does not work, especially for men for some reason. A lot of us can get sidetracked pretty easily. We sit there on our phone, and before we know it, we've been surfing on the internet for 45 minutes, right? I don't know if that's you, but it sometimes happens to me. So we want to have deep work, time that we set aside on our calendar or whatever tool you use to focus on this one door that we're going to commit to for the week. And then we want to fill in the rest of our priorities across the week. So if you're in sales, you might prospect in the morning, you might deliver devices and train merchants in the afternoons. You might do a Tuesday, Thursday schedule. Monday, Tuesday, you're working, setting up appointments, setting up calls, demos, Zoom meetings for the week, or you're attending a BNI meeting or a church business meeting or a networking group, whatever it is for you, you've got those set things that you're accomplishing and you're trying to achieve every week. That's not your big door, right? Those are the things that you do just as the normal course of business. The big door is something that, and I'll show you here in a minute, we'll talk a little bit about Covey, but the big door is a not a major crisis thing that's happening. It's something that's important, but not urgent, something that you can work on in the business and create that domino effect in the business. And then certainly you want to run your morning routine each and every day. That's where you get power. That's where you get clarity. That's where you hit body being balanced in business all in the morning, right? It might not be your core workout, but it might be some type of workout or stretching or whatever you need to do for yourself, and hit that morning routine every day. How many days a week do I do my morning routine? Well, I do it 7 days a week, 7 days a week, every single week. I don't think I missed my morning routine. It's been years since I have missed my morning routine. I've been sick a few times, but I typically would do an abbreviated morning routine. So this is your accountability for the week. You sit down Sunday, you map the stuff out. Doesn't take long, 20, 30 minutes. And if any of you did the Warrior Challenge that I've been promoting, they give you all the software to do this stuff. So you can map out everything and have it right there on your phone. So let's jump into what we want to focus on, right? So we put first things first. There was a book Covey wrote called First Things First. He also wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And where we want to spend our time is over here, right? So there are things that are urgent in our business and they're important. Those are the crisis things. So that's the things that if that happens while we're at work, we have to address it. If a merchant calls in and their terminal is down, we have to fix it, right? If they run out of paper, we need to get them paper. Whatever that emergency item is, we have to manage it. These are things, though, that you don't typically plan, right? They're just things that you have to deal with during your day. These things in quadrant two are the focus of your business, right? These are the things that are important, but not urgent. And that's where you want to spend almost all your time when you're making these weekly plans, right? So we want to stay focused on where we want to go. Preparation and planning, empowerment, relationship building, true recreation, long-term business systems that you're putting in place around advertising, marketing, operations, sales, cash flow, finances, accounting, all the systems that you need to put in place in your business to keep the business running and growing and thriving. Where we don't want to be is down here, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent. Not important, not urgent are time wasters, right? TV, busy work, junk mail, emails. Look, I see a lot of sales reps that spend a lot of time here because they want to avoid doing the stuff up here, right? They know they need to make sales calls, but they're going to go pick up their dry cleaning instead. They're going to have a 2 hour lunch. They're going to, get on ESPN for 45 minutes, whatever they're doing to avoid having to make the calls that they know that they need to make, right? So that's the part of the discipline that we want to build over time. And it's a step-by-step process. And quadrant three, not important and urgent. So this is what he calls the deception quadrant. We think we need to be in here, but we really don't because we're meeting other people's expectations. So when somebody has and I'll be honest, I'm not the best at this because when somebody typically asks me or needs me, or, I had a couple people that wanted me to give them a call this morning, I'll typically schedule that, right? And I need to get better myself at saying no or scheduling those things out. But, when someone is making a request of you, you're working off of their schedule, not your schedule. Certainly, when it's a prospect, a client, a customer, we want to support them and be there for them. But that would be up in these quadrants here, right? So you want to spend your time in quadrant two as much as possible. So let's take a look here. I'm going to draw this out, and let me see if I can share. All right, let me draw this out briefly for everybody. If you can't see my screen, please tell me, but you should be able to see my screen here. Let me move my tablet down a little bit. Okay, so we have our weekly, target, or we can call it a door that we're going to open, right? You sit down Sunday and you decide, this is my big thing for the week, my quadrant 2 activity for the week. Normally, and let's just take an example, right? So I'm going to call something, I'm going to develop a merchant boarding process. This is something I've been working on some of our consumer finance and lending products, right? So my door for the week is I need to develop a merchant boarding process. Typically, behind that, there are tasks associated. I try to keep it at around 4 tasks. So the first task might be map out the flow. Second task might be, hey, I need to get some software set up to create everything I need to create and automate this boarding process, forms, PDFs, e-signs, whatever it is. I need to review that software. The third thing could be I need to create a draft and test. And the third piece is I might need to integrate software. I might need to integrate to my CRM. I might need to integrate into a project management system, whatever it is. So let's just say that these are my 4 things for the week, right? So this is what I want to accomplish for the week, but I have all these other tasks, right? And what I do is I create what's called a hot list. And that's what I use my Microsoft To Do. I love Microsoft To Do, so you can use Lotus Notes. I mean, whatever you want to use, but I use Microsoft To Do. It syncs with my phone, it syncs with my computer, and I can sort out everything I have. And I would probably, what I do is that I dump it all in Microsoft To Do, so it doesn't have to sit in my brain, right? And I'm looking at my Microsoft To Do, and I probably have 140, 150 things on this list on my phone between various personal items, opportunities, Monday calls, team calls, platforms, taxes, all kinds of marketing, advertising, all kinds of stuff. So whatever tool you use, it could be a spreadsheet, it could be whatever you're using. We want to dump this out of your brain and get it on a piece of paper, not on a bunch of yellow stickies and tablets. And this is my hot list that I want to achieve. So I have my weekly door. I have my hot list items that I want to achieve. And then certainly I have some daily items that I have scheduled for my week. So this is kind of how what we're going to be doing is moving these hot list items over to our week. So I would normally do something like this. I would set up each day. I know what my door is, right? I'd have my hot list items over here, and I have these 4 items here. So I'm going to move these 4 items down to my week. So I'm going to pick which day I want to work on which item. So I'm going to map it out. Mondays are tough. I'm going to do my map out on Mondays. The second item, software. I'm going to do Wednesday, create a draft and integrate. I'll do draft. And on Friday, I'll do the final integration, right? So these are the things that I'm doing for the week that are my key items that I want to accomplish. Then what I'm going to do is take my daily hot list items, and I'm going to take my daily things that I do normally, and I'm going to map them out. And I don't usually go more than 4 items a day. And I'm sticking with what we do if you did the Warrior Challenge, what they get into in talking about this door. So I take these items, move them over here behind my key drivers for my week. These things I put on my calendar, right? I time block, time aside to accomplish these. I delegate things to help accomplish these and get these things done. And I have my items every day. So if I do 4 major items weekly, I'm going to finish 20 really important items plus 1 door if I do that every single week for a total of 21. What happens if I do this 4 times a month? I'm getting a lot of stuff done, right? And here you're going to have, if you're in sales, your prospecting, your sales calls, your delivery, whatever you're doing. But I'm going to accomplish a ton of items one by one if I use a simple system like this. So you can use the Bank Card Life Planner, has all this on there, and you can use that planner, put in your personal, your body, your workouts, whatever you want to do, right on that planner, or you can come up with your own system similar to this. And then this weekly door, of course, feeds into your 90-day sprint. So if I have 3 months and I had 84 items every single month, what's that? 240, 256 items I hit that quarter. You're going to get a lot done. That's a simple production system that I run each and every week. So I hope that helps you, and I hope it gets you thinking about how you can run and manage your business a little bit more effectively. Is this exciting stuff? I don't know. It's probably pretty boring, but it's the way that you produce results across your life and business. So I keep everything in that app, and on the calendar, I don't put my workouts as much because they're more of a habit, but I have a habit tracker that I run my morning routine on. And once things become a habit, I take it off the habit tracker because I don't need to track it anymore, right? So if you're trying to develop new habits, I would probably recommend not developing more than 1 new habit every 90 days. And right now I'm doing getting back into cold showers every day. I do the stuff called Wim Hof breathing. I've been doing that for about 3 years, but I got away from the cold showers. So my wife and family and all my kids are doing a cold shower challenge. So we do stuff like that as a family just to get everybody motivated and get people doing stuff and staying positive and doing things that are going to affect our lives in a positive manner. So your hot list, your weekly target, your task associated, I call those strikes, and your daily hit list, you're moving all your stuff over onto that weekly pattern, that weekly flow. So that's the production system for the week. I hope that helped you. Happy to answer any questions. Just hit us up in the group. Please participate in the group. Set up your weekly tools, set up your weekly system so you can start to execute on your weekly plan. And if you haven't been doing the Sunday review, make a commitment to yourself to do your Sunday review this week and try this for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Every Sunday, sit down and try to map out what you're going to accomplish each and every week and get a system together where you're getting things done and you're recording it, and then you can go back and see how you did over that last 6 weeks and if your production was actually improved or if working a system like this helped you. So any input, if you guys have better ideas, other things you're doing that would help the group, please post it in there. We'd love to hear what you're doing. If there are apps you're using that work well, please post it. Habit tracker apps, please post it. Anything you want to post that you think would be useful based on this assignment and the lesson that I did today. So I will see you week after next for our next session, and we'll dig a little bit deeper. And I haven't decided what the topic will be there, but we'll probably talk about morning routines and gaining power in the morning, because that will feed in very nicely with Morrow and what we're going to talk about energy around that. So looking forward to seeing you there. Please post any questions in the group. I'd love to answer them for you. Have a good one.